everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk Chicago. My name's Jon Zaghloul. Great to have you here on Channel 59.3 BPOD TV and Roku. We are live from WCKG here in Chicago. We have a lot to get to today. Justin Fields has spoken out at rookie minicamp. Talk about what he said and what it means for the Bears moving forward. That comes up in just a second. Before we get started, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. You know, watch more of this show. Search up Sports Talk Chicago on YouTube or go to sportstalkchicago.com. You know, watch more shows from the BPOD TV network. Search up BPOD TV on YouTube. I want to start today with this. For the most part, when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I know myself, sometimes I won't, but usually I will. At Eberflus, I admitted it. I let emotion take over and guide my opinion instead of logic. And once the logic hit, a day or two after, I made a new video redacting what I said and said, you know what? We have to give him a chance. A couple of days ago, I made a video about Justin Fields, about the potential. It's mostly speculation that he could request a trade or would be traded. Doubt it's going to happen. The likelihood's at 0.0001%. It probably won't. And I said, you know what? He'd be warranted to ask for a trade. The Bears have done nothing for him. And while most of that is true, we have some new quotes from Fields and some new reporting on what the Bears have done for him, at least offensively and schematically. According to Jason Leisure of the Chicago Sun-Times, quote, Bears quarterback Justin Fields says OC Luke Getsy has already been working on his fundamentals, a small tweak. Changing his drop back so he's got his left foot forward when he gets back there. Should speed things up and help with timing. Quarterback Justin Fields says he hopes, quote, Luke Getsy will tailor plays to my skill set. Justin Fields has been working on his drop. Justin Fields, when asked if he was put in the best position to succeed last year, I don't know. We all know. But these are all very encouraging quotes to come from Fields. I love to hear that he's working on his mechanics more than anything. You can only do so much with the scheme. And that's true. And that's not to say Justin Fields is a bad quarterback, but the fact is you can only do so much. If there's a problem with you, yourself, you've got to fix that up first. And he's doing that. Actually listening to coaching from Luke Getsy, that's a big deal. It seems so insignificant. I mean, this is just a tweet I'm reading. Who cares, right? No, big deal. Proves he's coachable. Proves he can listen and take criticism. Proves that he's willing to get better and willing to put in extra work. These are all great signs and very positive news to come out of Fields and from the Bears right now. It makes me even more optimistic considering that the other day said they weren't doing anything to help him. Well, here's at least some sort of evidence to suggest otherwise. Now, personnel, it's still a crapshoot. Personnel is not there yet. We know this. Hopefully the draft will change things a bit. But coaching-wise, too, the Bears obviously did not prioritize Justin Fields last year. And I'm surprised for him to say he was put in the best position to succeed last year. His answer was, I don't know. Very mature on his part. And if that were me, I would go all out. I wouldn't even resist. I would say, hell no. That idiot Matt Nagy, or probably a much different word if I wasn't on the air. But still, for him to sit there and actually say, I don't know. Again, seems like nothing. It's a maturity thing. Hey, Baker Mayfield, he'd say, oh, I know. Josh Rosen, I mean, all these younger quarterbacks that we've seen over the years would definitely have a say and would definitely voice a pretty strong opinion on the situation. Even older quarterbacks who are babies. Aaron Rodgers, baby. He's the one who forced out Mike McCarthy. I'm not saying Mike McCarthy was great, but the fact is Aaron Rodgers made sure to publicly voice his displeasure with what he did. Now, Matt Nagy deserves it, no question, but the fact that Justin Fields is holding back, pretty surprising. Extremely surprising. Goes to show the level of maturity that he has and the type of hat that's screwed on his body. You might think all this stuff is small and I'm reaching, but really there's a lot you can take away from these quotes and this press conference in general. A lot. So he's changing up mechanics, not throwing a really bad coach under the bus, and hoping, quote, that Luke Getsy will cater an offense to his skill set. Really, this actually calms me down a bit. This is really one of the best outcomes you could have out of this voluntary minicamp. All this, all these quotes, all these answers, especially the mechanics part. I don't care if he has perfect mechanics. If you can make an improvement as a second-year quarterback mechanics-wise, do it. It's only going to help you. And here it says it's going to help him too. Going to help him have a little bit more time in the pockets. Help out with his timing, which was a problem at times last year, obviously, with no offensive line and no weapons to throw the football to. And a coach like Matt Nagy, which we'll continue to talk about. Have to like these developments that are coming in from voluntary minicamp. Now, the draft is next week. We're going to have a ton of coverage for that come next week. But right now, if the Bears really want to prove they're all about Justin Fields, you better draft a wide receiver and some offensive line help, but preferably a wide receiver with that second-round pick. Do it. You know what to do. You know what your quarterback needs. Do it. Stop waiting. Stop messing around. Help out your quarterback. As I mentioned on Tuesday, and this still warrants some consideration here, still, the Bears have not done anything personnel-wise to reassure Justin Fields. They have time to do it for sure, but they haven't done it yet. That's why I said it wouldn't be a bad idea for Fields to request a trade, or at least I would think it'd be warranted. They've done nothing personnel-wise, on the field product-wise to help him yet. Maybe a coach, maybe a GM still, but personnel, players. The roster still sucks, plain and simple. They need more weapons offensively. Here's your chance to do it, especially if you're actually training Justin Fields to be better. You're putting in time and effort. You're changing up mechanics, schematically planning around him and his strengths. Make sure you finish it off and draft somebody to help him too. It's not going to help anybody if Justin Fields all of a sudden, new mechanics and new coaching, new scheme, and yet still has no one to throw to or no time to throw the football. Either or, it's not a good situation. Changes still need to be made here. Nothing is set in stone yet for him or for the Bears. So here's your time to do it. And I love that answer about, was he put in the right position to succeed last year? The answer is, I don't know. I would not have blamed him if he went off on Matt Nagy. I would have done it for him. But the fact is, it shows that he's not a diva. It shows that he's actually a workable human being, that he can be worked with and taught. Look, Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, but you know what? At the end of the day, problems. Causes unnecessary problems for his team and for his own brand. Look at Allen Robinson. I bring this up all the time. Allen Robinson, even though last year he was sabotaged, didn't say a word till the year ended, till he got a new contract. That's how it worked. I didn't see Robinson causing problems, going to the media and trashing on his team, trashing on teammates, maybe a tweet here or there. But you know what? I'd rather take a tweet here or there than further and going further. Quarterback is the leader of your team. Quarterback is the face of the franchise. Quarterback is going to determine whether or not you win or lose at the end of the day, for the most part. You need somebody with their head screwed on straight. You need somebody who's going to be mature. Justin Fields is a second-year quarterback. He's a youngster, and he has the maturity complex already. That is a huge positive for him. And that's a life lesson. That's not even for football. That's in life, whatever he ends up doing, whether he's a great football player, whether he's a bust. To have that maturity at this age helps a ton. For him not to be scarred after last year, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he could sit there and actually say, I don't know. His quote, exact quote, I don't know. I'd be scarred after last year. And what happened? How could you not be? You were trotted out to the wolves your first time you went out there. 9 sacks from the Browns. Nope. His answer is, I don't know. I don't know if I was put in a position to succeed last year. Maturity, trying to not cause problems, being a good ambassador for the team, good ambassador for his own brand and for his future, showing that he's coachable, mature, smart, very smart. These are all positives when it comes to Justin Fields. You have to love them. These are the things I like to see. Granted, we didn't see much of it last year because the whole situation with Matt Nagy, I mean, there was a completely different story going on, but now we're seeing it here. Now we're seeing the first offseason in which Justin Fields is definitively a number one. Taking first team reps, being with the first team, all these small things that will add up to big benefits in the future. Training with the first team, getting snaps with the first team, the offensive coordinator trying to tweak his mechanics a little bit, schematic changes, building an offense around him. The question is, how does he handle all this stuff? And so far, it's been so good. I mean, it's been great. Proving he's coachable, proving he's mature. That's the main lesson, at least from these quotes. Maybe it's just me. I don't like drama in general. It's not good for a brand. It's not good for a person. And it's not good if you're playing a team sport. That's across the board, not just football, everything. Drama is not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to cause unnecessary stress. It's going to hurt your brand and your public standing. And it may end up losing you games. A lot of the time, it loses you games. The Bears they have enough drama. The Bears have enough drama right now. New coach, new GM. Who are they going to sign? Who are they going to draft? They don't need a quarterback that's saying, hey, I got a problem too. I'm going to speak up and cause problems. Although he'd be warranted to do it, the fact that he's not because he understands the situation, maturity. He's got a head. He's using it. That's what I love the most. Really, I mean, if there's one trait that I could say I love about Justin Fields right now, even more than on the field play, it's this. It's maturity. It's understanding the scope of the situation. Because you know what? That proves he's a man. And that also proves, again, that no matter what walk of life he goes into, he's going to be fine. Obviously, everybody wants him to be a superstar quarterback. But at the end of the day, if he's not by some random occurrence, guess what? He's mature. He's mature, and he'll be okay in whatever he does. And he's young and still has that maturity level. Great stuff. Can't argue with that. Still, the big question is, can the Bears cater around him? See, all these reports are encouraging. I'm even saying they're encouraging. I'm not hating on anything, but there always has to be skepticism. And again, we don't know. It's April. It's not August, September. The season isn't starting yet. Not going to start for a long time. So we don't know how true all of this is. And the only thing that's going to prove it are actions. When we see Justin Fields play in September, is it really an offense catered to him? Is he really getting enough time to throw the football? Does he really have enough weapons around him? Has he actually matured? Has he changed his mechanics like Luke Getsy and him said? We don't know. I'd like to trust it, but obviously, I think all of us are scarred after the Matt Nagy experience. We have to wait and see. I'm optimistic, though. Very optimistic. More optimistic today than I was just a few days ago. If all this is happening, then that means the Bears are at least indirectly saying we prioritize Justin Fields. And then you're a friend of mine in my book. The whole point of this is to work around your quarterback. The fact is the Bears have never had a franchise quarterback in decades, years, generations even. I see your comments all the time. I'm 22. I see 60, 70-year-olds commenting, telling me, hey, I haven't seen a quarterback in a long time. I miss the 85 Bears. So it's not just me. Maybe I'm young, but it's not just me. Even people 40, 50 years older than me are lamenting for something good for once. Instead of the same old retreads that the Bears continue to put out year in and year out. I still can't believe they actually signed Mike Glennon. That's something that I'm never going to understand. So for once, they have a relatively young quarterback in his second year trying to prove himself. And for once, they're actually trying to help him. See, now it's going to be on field soon, and that's fine. That's how it should be. But the fact is, they're trying step by step to make things a little bit better for him come this year. And it already is going to look like somewhat of an improvement, at least in the sense that you don't have Matt Nagy anymore. You have an offensive coordinator with a new scheme and even trying to help Justin Fields mechanically. And maybe in the draft, you hit on somebody. And it helps out Fields immensely. Who knows? Maybe they get Olave. Probably not, but they could move up, or they get Pickens. Again, huge move. I'd be super happy. Just hope something happens. Hope we see actions that follow the words. That's all I can hope for right now. But these quotes certainly paint a happier picture than what we saw last year. At this time last year, Justin Fields wasn't even a Bear. We were talking about Andy Dalton being the starter and competing with Nick Foles in voluntary minicamp. So things are much different this time this year, and they're going to be different in a year from now, too, when we talk about this. But the fact is, Justin Fields is getting first-team reps. He is considered the starter. He has a new coach and a whole new system with him. Somebody actually changing up his mechanics to help him, genuinely trying to help. And the Bears could still do something of significance in the draft. You got to like what you're seeing. And although at the moment, maybe the Bears have not done enough personnel-wise to help out Fields, at least they're helping him out a little bit behind the scenes. I still want more personnel, though. But behind the scenes, things are getting a bit better. There's really no arguing that point. Things are getting much better for him. Got to hope for the best here. That's all you could do. Just want to see something good happen. I know many of you do too. All of you do. I think everybody's pretty sick of the same old, and of the misery that this team causes. I mean, we're sitting here today talking about the Bears getting better, and yet we all fully know that 2022 could probably be a wash. I mean, we're sitting here accepting another year from Bears management. Granted, it's new Bears management, but still. There are some of you who watch Bears football for 50, 60 years. How many times have you been told, oh, hey, just give us another year. Give us another quarterback. Give us another GM or head coach. We'll make it right. It's going to be very hard this time around to win fans' trust. Maybe not the young generation. I know lots of people my age who are so happy and chipper and, oh, everything's going to be great. No. The fact is they still have to earn it. But right now they are. But it has to be established. They have time to do it, and I hope they do. I want to see the Bears win. You know, every guest I have on, usually at the end, when we talk about the Bears, they say, well, I hope for the best for the Bears. Football is always more entertaining when the Bears are winning. Chicago's a great football town. We hear it all the time, and yet the Bears have treated fans like crap. So my hope is that something changes. And so far, at least on paper, at least according to quotes, things are going in the right direction. Thanks for watching today's show here at VPON TV, channel 59.3 in Roku. Really appreciate the time. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports and on Facebook, Jon Zaghloul. You're going to watch more of my show. Search up Sports Talk Chicago on YouTube or go to sportstalkchicago.com. You're going to watch more shows from the VPON TV network. Go on YouTube and search up VPOD TV or watch my show every night at 10:30 on channel 59.3. So long, everyone.